It's lonely out there when you're the only fucking warrior. But that's not an excuse. It can't be an excuse because as a high-performance person, the old cheap cliche that eagles fly above the clouds, and they do. Eagles fly alone. I have no friends. Friends are problems. Friends are challenges. If you aren't into yourself, and that means something else now than what I mean. If you're not into yourself enough that you can't spend the weekend by yourself, then something's fucking wrong with you. Vis-a-vis self-esteem, being a high-performance person, and accomplishing high-performance acts, something's wrong with you. It's lonely at the top. The guys, when you read about Elon Musk spending his birthday pissing and moaning about being alone and working 120, 140-hour weeks, and he's already a rich guy, you know. The guys that I personally know, there are no intimacies at the top. And eagles fly alone. That's an old cheap cliche, but they do. They fly alone. Eagles fly above the storms. Eagles don't look for shelter like other birds in the rain. Eagles fly above the shit. And I can honestly say that I've only met one of my neighbors in 35 years. One. And I have no intention of meeting any others. It's lonely out there when you're the only fucking warrior. It is. But that's not an excuse. It can't be an excuse because as a high-performance person, the old cheap cliche that eagles fly above the clouds, and they do, and they fly alone. That's it. So it's lonely at the top. About 20, 25 years ago, there was an article in Penthouse magazine and had a girl wearing garter belts, just panties, not a lewd or anything, and a brassiere, and she was the CEO of, at that time, a Fortune 50 company, IT, and the article was about it's lonely at the top. And of course, a guy looks at this picture, now how can this gal possibly be lonely? But it is lonely at the top. When you're the founder, the chairman, and or the CEO, or one of those titles, and you've taken one of these ideas, and with a motivated seller, as I point out, it will still be lonely. How has your program worked out? You've been good to everybody in your life. You give them presents, you write them birthday cards and all the shit, right? How has it gotten you? How's your program worked out? It hasn't. You're still dirt poor, or close to it. I've done none of the above. I believe President Trump doesn't give birthday cards. He doesn't say thank you. How's his program worked out? I'm positive Putin doesn't send birthday cards. He doesn't send motherfucking flowers to anybody. He doesn't say thank you, and he sure shit never says I'm sorry. How's his program worked out? Yet you've done all those things, and how's your motherfucking program worked out? Because you're pleasers. You think Putin and Trump are pleasers? I don't think so. Henry Ford, the first a pleaser? No. Elon Musk? No. Bill Gates? No. Warren Buffett? I can go down the list. If I left here the day after the seminar, I could have a board, a deal, financing, and a deal done in less than 30 days. Maybe 2 weeks. I don't like to work 20 hours a day anymore, but if I just work my normal 60, 70 hours a week, a month. Without even breaking a sweat. Just as you can. You'll be breaking a sweat, though. You'll be doing, when Josh was, he had a 60-hour-a-week job, and he was doing QLA 70 hours a week. That doesn't give much room for sleep, does it? But you'll say, well, fuck, he was 17, 18. You don't need sleep when you're 17, 18. You already got a reason why you can't work 130, 40 hours a week, that you need sleep. He cut back to 3 hours a night sleep, the guy you just listened to, and then he couldn't take it. He only lasted a few weeks at 3 hours a night sleep, and so he had to go back to 4 hours. When you know, it's like when you were in lust with that person, you know, you wanted to fuck all night, fuck in the toilet, in the car, in the closet. When you figure out that every hour you sleep, you're not making money, you'll never sleep again. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Most of your friends, most of the people you hang and chill with are worthless pieces of shit. Should have rolled down the inside of their mama's leg. Never been born. And contrary to what you think, everybody doesn't deserve to be alive. That is horseshit fucking myth. Instead of 7.5 billion people, we should have about 500 million people. Unfortunately, not all like me. Sally said it would be a hell of a world if everybody's like you, Dan. Of course, my mother was telling me that a long time ago. And the few people that I still associate with that I knew 50 years ago, I got 5 guys that you would consider friends. 2 of them, one of them I met in 1956. One of them I met in 1957. One of them I met in 1959. And then the other 2 in 62. That's it. I don't have any more. And now they're getting old and feeble. They're problems. Friends are problems. Because, you know, my dad's definition of a friend. Okay, and we're just going to, there's 3 people here, and I call you first, and I say, my mother's name was Amy. Amy's dead. You say, you don't ask how she died. Okay, I'll get the truck. I call the next guy. I'll get the chainsaw. I call the next guy. I'll get the lye. Lye, you put it in the grave, and it disintegrates the body. That's my dad's definition of a friend. Many years ago, a good friend of mine, who's a lawyer, we're having some people over for drinks, and he comes early. We used to call him Tarlo Tentative because he could never get the time right, but then he was early about an hour, and I show up at the door bloody, in boxer shorts and a t-shirt. He assumed that I had chopped up my wife or killed her or something. He told his wife to get in the car and go shopping and leave, and he comes into the car, rolls up his sleeves, okay, where's the body? You know, didn't ask how it happened. Didn't ask if she had it coming or whatever. And but what had happened is I raised Great Danes for a long time, and 2 of my big males got in a fight, and so I'm trying to break it up, and they're chewing on each other. And I finally broke it up by sticking a hose up the ass of the biggest male to get him to stop killing the next smaller male. And the next smaller male was Driller, the one that's in the painting. But this was Chewbacca. He was about 205, 210 pounds, and he was a big, mean, ruthless dog. And so, but when I came to the door all bloodied, okay, told his wife to get in the car and go. But now what would you do? Oh, okay, did you call 911? Right? It's a different world. And I'm a product of a different generation. Now, when I was growing up, if my dad said bullshit, I just put my head down. Because my dad believed children should be seen and not heard. So I just kept my mouth shut. Now, when you talk shit to your kids, they can just Google and say, Dad's full of shit. Mom's full of shit. But now the kids realize that taking action is doing something. Taking action is not living quiet lives of desperation like your parents. 75% of the people in the United States and 85% of the people in Europe live paycheck to paycheck. Hand to mouth. I would venture to guess almost everybody in this room either lives that today or came from that background, living paycheck to paycheck. And your parents didn't tell you were poor. You may not have been going on holidays like some of the rich kids. Well, you didn't know any rich kids, so you didn't know what they were doing. This is what they were doing. I won't say that that's an average Friday night for Sally and I, but it's not so strange that we get dressed up and I'm wearing my Scottish kilt. The first cars on the planet were electric cars. And then 8, 10, 12 years later, petroleum, combustible engines were invented. And so if we wanted electric cars, I mean, we could have been developing, instead of the last 15 years because Elon Musk stuck his foot up the ass of the automobile industry, we could have developed some really tremendous automobiles based on electricity. But again, it's survival of the fittest. Now, they don't say sensitivity equals poverty, but you could see on the bottom, if it was there, sensitivity equals poverty vis-a-vis all these magnets, these guys. It just makes sense. There's no sensitivity in any shape, manner, or form of any of these guys. Now, what they don't say, but you can conjecture yourself, do they give a shit about anybody but themselves? No. And I'm going to just say this generically. And you care. Did they care what anybody said about them? No. If a newspaper said something bad, they bought the fucking newspaper and sacked everybody. That's not in that film, but that's what happened. Did they care what anybody thought about them? No. And you can just go item by item from then till now. And if you even go back further till the Hun and Genghis Khan, those guys, they thought even less.
You are where you are because you're pleasers. Some of you think you're not pleasers, but you're still a pleaser. I have never bought flowers, candy, gifts, anything for anybody in my life. Never. I'm abusive, they tell me. They say I'm a bully. I don't agree with that, but if you weren't a bully where I came from, you didn't get past the 5th grade. And yet I continue to get gifts. And I ask you, everybody in this room, and I know everybody in this room, how has your program worked out of being a pleaser? Well, if your program had worked out, you wouldn't be here. And if love and religion got the job done, you wouldn't be here. Where is love and religion the most predominant? In the poor countries, right? And how in the fuck has that worked out for them? It hasn't.